The following is a production of Fenix Media. The views expressed do not necessarily represent those of the company or its advertisers and may contain language that's unsuitable for younger listeners. Welcome back, everybody, to You Bet Your Ass, a Patreon exclusive podcast where we cover the week's biggest sports bets. We're broadcasting live from the National Automobile Museum here in downtown Reno. If you want tickets or information for the museum, just visit automuseum.org. Now, I'm Kristian Fenix. Along with me is the, we didn't pick one out, so I'm going to say the Mike Tirico to my John Gruden.
Okay.
The G-Man.
Yeah, man, I like Tirico.
I do too.
He's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I take that one. You're on a roll.
And Gruden was a very capable announcer.
Yeah, you know what I mean? You know what you're going to get. It's kind of like watching, the Chucky movies. Exactly. Literally. I see how he got that nickname.
Right?
It's apt.
Yeah. I mean, he's an intense guy, but at the same time, he knows the game.
Yeah.
It's only a matter of time before we see him back in some sort of role, despite everything that happened, 3-4 weeks ago. But
yeah, man, he's suing the NFL. Did you see that?
I did not see that.
Yeah, he's suing the NFL. So stay tuned.
That'll be interesting.
When I saw that headline, I was just like, ooh, I wonder how much he's going for. Because they got deep pockets.
Oh, absolutely.
So yeah, it's pretty interesting. It definitely, I think he, over the years, probably wore on a couple people, which, certainly happens in many industries, if not, generally in life, no matter what, there's somebody just like, man, I'm just tired of that guy. You can kind of hear him. And so anyway, there was definitely a little witch hunt.
That'll be interesting to follow how that goes.
Seems that way, at least from a public,
right.
Sitting in the stands.
Yeah. See what his rights are, see, if those emails that came out were confidential emails,
Yeah, and we're not, of course, condoning, the content or anything like that. But, I guess my point is that, I guess if you want to be an asshole in your own space, you know what I mean? At least you can do that. But, your privacy is just, it's getting more and more difficult, just have some privacy. Well, again, not condoning, the content, because I totally disagree, with the way that he, phrased everything. And some of the connotations that are, that are not debatable. Yeah. So I think it gets down to, I think that, man, this is interesting because it's kind of like, gets down to Fourth Amendment stuff, being able to be secure in your persons and how private is emails, between, interesting, because I'm sure that there's a lot of paperwork and, contracts that were signed that maybe or maybe did not broach, the confidentiality of emails.
Right. And, the NFL, they're about as legally backed as possible to protect them, to protect their coaches, to protect everybody involved. Yeah. So how much protection?
It's going to be interesting. Stay tuned, folks.
Exactly. Well, speaking of stay tuned, at this point in the show, we like to take a look back to last week, NFL Week 10, see how things went. Unfortunately, they did not go well. It was a 5-9 record, but it was a weird week. Kicking off with the Miami Dolphins putting a beat down on the Baltimore Ravens, which nobody saw coming, and then the weirdness just continued throughout the rest of the weekend.
Yeah, we should have saw that as a precursor, that ultimately ended with the Redskins beating the Buccaneers.
Right. Just switch all those bets around after that first game.
And that's not the only one. There's a couple other ones.
The Rams and the Niners were.
Just a cherry on top of the cake. Of course, I bet against my boys, from the Bay Area. But that's part of, I thought the Rams were going to, especially after the outing with the Titans, and it just and they are trying to stop a win streak of the 49ers against them.
Right.
For like 3 years now.
Well,
it's
and
crazy.
You've got Von Miller there. Now you've got Odell Beckham junior They're paying up for quality players.
Yeah.
And that didn't pay off for them.
Yeah, I saw this one meme that was pretty funny. The memes that follow the football games, especially after the week is over. And so it shows a picture of Odell Beckham talking to Stafford on the sideline, and it said, "Hey man, they told me that you were better than Baker Mayfield." That's pretty funny stuff. So, but it'll be interesting. They still have inside track. I mean, 7-3. I think I saw something that they still have a 95% chance of making the playoffs, they being the Rams.
Right.
And the Niners, surprisingly, is about 42%. So that was
especially given that the Cardinals have lost their last 2 games in a row. That helps the Niners out.
I would imagine that it sometimes helps players, of course, not just being a divisional opponent, but just to be able to, like, if they truly do want to win the play, make the playoffs, it's like 1 week at a time. Every week is our playoff. And so there was somebody that probably contrasted that fact that if we win this game, we're going to have a 43% chance. And if we lose the game, we're dropping down to 17. Now, everybody in the locker room can figure out that 43 is better than 17. You know what I mean? That if you don't win this game, that you pretty much better pack it up, and everything's going to be looking toward next year, including you being evaluated for your job every single week. So it just kind of changes the dynamics of the player's psyche going into weeks once it's to the point where it ain't going to happen this year.
Yeah. And the same thing happened with Chiefs. The Chiefs-Raiders game was for sole possession of lead in the AFC West, which Chiefs are back up in the lead, which, judging on the first half of the season so far, you would have never thought. They started out really, really slow. But for them, it's a must-win situation. They did win, and now they own that top spot.
Yeah, exactly. Well put. That was a huge game that they not only won, but it showed us a lot about the potential of this team again. Going into what do they call it now? It's not the black hole. They still have a black hole, I think, in there somewhere.
I don't know.
I think they transplanted. I can't remember exactly what it is, but it's a tough place to play. I haven't been there live in person.
The Death Star.
The Death Star, yeah.
That's what it is, yeah.
So it gets pretty loud. Big divisional game. Of course, the Raiders hung in there, but then once, a couple turnovers happened. And
Mahomes looking a little bit more like his old self.
Took advantage of those, and then bam, blowout all of a sudden.
So with that being said, even though last week was not the best week in the world, we're still at a 48% win percentage. And if you're following the $2 tally, to date, you would have paid out $300 total, gotten back $273.60. So you'd only be down $26.40. But again, it's not week by week. We're telling you guys to hang in there for the whole season. And, more often than not, it's a winning season, and you're putting some money back in your pocket when everything is all said and done.
Yeah, kind of like, how many games is it? 150 games, and it's cost you like a nice, Caesar salad with some grilled salmon in there. You know what I mean? Just that's about it, So not too bad.
And that's the perfect segue into a couple of the disclaimers that we like to drop on people. When we're talking about sports betting, it's about fun. It's for entertainment purposes. Definitely don't bet more than you have to lose. Don't go mortgage the house and drop, $100,000 on the week if you can't afford to drop $100,000 on a week. Do stay within your means, and then, have fun with it. You can take our advice. You can go the complete opposite direction. But as long as you're having fun with it, that's the way to go.
Yep. It's entertainment, folks. It's entertainment.
The other disclaimer is we talk about in-play. So as of this moment when the show drops, Thursday afternoon, all of our information is up to date to Thursday midday. But as we mentioned, there are games 3 days later on Sunday where factors can change. Somebody can get hurt. There'll be weather. There'll be who knows what happens. And so those spreads can change. Certain things can adjust. So we always recommend playing in play, preferably on your mobile application, whichever sports book you choose to use with that. That way you can do it at the drop of a hat, and you can make adjustments quarterly by the half as you need to fix things through the middle of play.
Yeah. And, I basically, as pretty much pick who's going to win the upcoming week on Tuesday, start taking a look at the spreads, have some initial reactions and stuff like that. And then by Thursday, as has happened today, you get confirmation that the public betting is actually going toward the direction that you anticipate. So we have a few of those today that we can talk about later.
And as we like to do, we like to give our preview watchers and listeners a freebie. It's our kickoff pick. It's one pick for the week, give you guys a little taste of what we do, and then encourage you guys to join our Patreon subscription at the $3, $5, or $10 level. But this week's kickoff pick is the Washington football team, Washington WTF as I like to call them, against the Carolina Panthers. You got the Panthers -2.5. And boy, watched the Panthers last week, and I thought I was in 2017. Cam Newton's back. He's running back all over the field. He's putting up points. That was weird to see, but he is back. He's doing well. He's in familiar territory, and it is one of those things where, they're up against the Washington football team, who are doing all right, but they've got McCaffrey back. They're in full swing at this point.
Yeah. Well, as somebody pointed out, this is Christian McCaffrey's team. It's not Cam's team. Cam's back, as he so eloquently put it, on the sideline. That was pretty funny. That was weird. It was just like, oh man, they're going to be. Right when it happened, I was like, they're going to be. Oh my God, they're going to be showing this over and over and over. And for sure, everybody, followed suit and took advantage of that. Whether it's Sports Center or the other, the talk shows and stuff. But good for him. He definitely answers the question. Is just like there can't be 32 second string quarterbacks better than me.
No.
You know what I mean? So I think that he comes back to the Panthers at a good time. That's the interesting little twist about this game is that this is, of course, Ron Rivera, who used to coach the Panthers, and he and Cam went to the Super Bowl. And what was that? What year was that? 2012, I think. I think it was 2012.
13.
Yeah.
If you guys know, comment, let us know.
Yeah, somewhere around there. But this is him going back home, and so it's interesting that Cam, is back in the fold.
Well, and it goes to show that a quarterback isn't live and die based off of their own merits. It's really about what team they're with, what scheme they're with. It goes to show that, he went over to New England and struggled and was pulled, and it wasn't the right fit for him. Carolina, that's the right fit.
Yeah, I think, and of course, Washington last week, being one of the home dogs, the most significant home dog, if I remember right, 9.5 points. And it prevailed against Tom Brady and the Bucks. I think a lot of energy and effort, of course, went into that. This is going to be, probably an emotional return, but it's going to be more so for Ron Rivera. So they're going to play. But the eye test, I tell you, that was impressive against the Cardinals. Yeah. Like we pointed out, DJ Walker, is the fill-in to
PJ.
Yes, to Sam Darnold. Thank goodness. He needs to stay hurt a couple, more weeks.
Right.
Not to, want anybody to get hurt, but just stay on the bench a little bit, and then see what, of course, Cam. I think that's a good mix, of course, that they displayed last week. The defense again is stepping up, and so I think it's just going to be a tough outing. Chase Young is out for the season, and I think the combination of McCaffrey and the Panthers D, warrants them at least being able to win by a field goal or more.
Yeah. Win outright, doesn't have to be by much, but that's the way I see it going as well. And so that is our kickoff pick, our freebie for our free preview watchers and listeners. Of course, if you want the full slate of picks, head over to patreon.com/YouBetYourAss. Subscribe for the $3 audio only, the $5 audio and video, or the $10 that includes the bonus bets, the bring 'em or bench 'em. I actually got it right this week.
Hey, that's what it is, yeah.
Which is a discussion about who to play in fantasy football. Again, patting myself on the back. I'm still holding the points lead in the league. I'm leading my division, even though I lost my matchup last week by 3 points.
Doing it.
So, yeah, a lot of fun fantasy football insight, but, that's what we're here for, is fun.
Yeah.
And no matter how you get your football, that's what we're doing for you.
Heck yeah.